Let me tell you about Vanuatu. G'day. I'm very lucky living in Australia that so many fantastic places aren't too far away to fly. I'm very fortunate in that I've been to a lot of countries. New Zealand being one of my favourite, having been there 15 times in a 10-year period. I even bought and sold 3 different, what they call sections of land there. Here's York Street. It goes up the corner. And the back of it would be about here somewhere. And here we are at 26 Hastings Street. And yes, I've been to the other places, very popular, Fiji. Honestly, yes, it's very pretty, especially when you go on a boat cruise. Teeny tiny hermit crabs. Teeny tiny hermit crabs. But I wasn't overly impressed. I think it's a little bit too touristy. Look at that. Okay, here. Cook Islands was interesting. Okay, here we are in Rarotonga, Cook Islands, and we're going to walk outside of our bungalow. It's pretty basic, but it's not bad. There's the next door bungalow, but no one's in it. And we come outside here and see a lady having a cigarette. Say hello, lady. And some shells. The tide's actually just going out, but it came in pretty high over the reef. Cook Islands. And here's me, having not woken up all that long ago, and the sun in my eyes. Definitely one of the slowest places you can go. I think it was 20 kilometres an hour around the entire island, which took an hour because it's 20 kilometres in circumference. One place we went 16 years ago was Vanuatu. Let me tell you what I like about Vanuatu. Now, we stayed there for a week or 10 days, and it was really lovely. I really like the mix of culture.
Is that where they're building a resort?
They're building a resort for what? Median age from America.
Spattered with the French influence with the names of the motels and the decor. Yet in the main street of town, it's still the old ways of doing things with the village. The marketplaces are fabulous. And the water, no matter where you go around the island, is pristine blue. When we first went there, and I was surprised at how close it is to Brisbane where I live, by aircraft. I remember we hired a cheap Jeep 4-wheel drive with a broken driver's seat, which meant that I basically had to hold myself forward the entire trip. And the roads back then, 16 years ago, weren't completely sealed around the entire island. There were quite a few goat track dirt roads, which was interesting, but not that comfortable. One of my best memories about that, the other side of the island, was all the little kids in the village that ran alongside the car as if they don't see too many Western people. And my girlfriend Letty has a tattoo on her ankle, which the kids spotted, and they were just gobsmacked to see what the hell is that. That was so funny. There are a lot of little stalls that were selling relics from World War II, such as this Coke bottle. I don't know if you can see that, but this one's from 1944. Typically the sailors would throw those off the ships. There was not too much concern back then about pollution. So yeah, I bought a couple of those home. And whilst it was a fabulous place, Vanuatu is a place you can pick your own speed. You can either be extremely laid back or as active as you like. One thing I won't ever forget whilst in Vanuatu, and this has nothing at all to do with Vanuatu. At the time I was working for the health department, and normally during my working life I was extremely pedantic about cleanliness, hand sanitisation, everything. So I happened to stop in a park one day and use the public toilet. There were no hand towels at the time, but there was a dirty, filthy black rag hanging up, which, I don't know, sometimes you go on holidays and your brain goes, whoop, such as when people hire scooters that have never ridden motorbikes before. Anyway, so washed my hands, dried them on the cloth, went to lunch. Beautiful food. Everywhere in Vanuatu, it's lovely. I remember I had a beautiful steak. And probably that night, I began to get very sick. And I was extremely sick for the rest of the week. Yeah, that has nothing to do with Vanuatu. Just don't use dirty rags in washrooms. Anyway, fast forward to 3 years ago, we went on a boat cruise. One of the stops was Vanuatu. You can check out that Pacific cruise up here. But even though we were only there for a few hours this time, I did get to take a little bit of footage. It still gave us a chance to go into town. We opted for the water taxi. To shoot us across from where the boat now comes in, which is an amazing port, and going ahead to the city. We had a bit of a walk around and relax at the cafe. I sat down, had a coffee, just took in the view. But the difference now is there are paved roads around the entire island, so those old issues are gone. But basically the main street is still essentially the same. You've got the markets and everything really nice. The people are really, really friendly on Vanuatu. When I first went there, I didn't take any video, I took some still shots. So what I'd like to do is return to Vanuatu one day with a decent camera and take some proper footage of it, which of course I'll share with you guys. Anyway, if you get a chance to go to Vanuatu, and I know, as I started to say, we're lucky in Australia because the Pacific Islands to us aren't that far to access, whereas if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, places like that are things that you'd only be able to dream about normally. You can achieve them if you set your goals, and I've done a video about this before. So if you get a chance, check out Vanuatu. It's really fantastic. Beautiful place, very picturesque. One of my fond memories actually of our extended first trip there 16 years ago. The Botanical Gardens is absolutely worth checking out. Now around the island there's a lot of pidgin English, but it's very easy to work out. And those signs are also in the Botanical Gardens with quite a few humorous stories. Actually, I've had a dream many times about being there, albeit a little bit different. They had lions and tigers and things like that, which aren't there in reality. So where have you been that's an interesting place like that? Comment below. Cheers, or hang loose.